Welcome to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Janie Lee Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi, welcome to the podcast. I hope you're doing well. If you are in the middle of Sober October, I suppose you've been in, 11 days or something, then keep going. You know what I'm going to say, keep it going for longer than just October. You might be at that really tricky stage where actually you're starting to think, I'm going to count the days, but get connected. If you haven't yet, get connected, get some support, get some help, get some inspiration, get some motivation, and just do it. It's the best thing you will ever do. I had such a nice message in the week because, I often say on the podcast, look, I know that not everybody wants to join us in the Sober Club or be part of my gang. That's fine. I get that completely. But I always say, just reach out and ask for support, or just tell someone that you are doing this thing. And a guy did reach out to me and just asked me for a few tips. And so I gave him a few tips for an event that he had coming up. And I just got this really lovely message. I won't name him, obviously, but I thought this was just so relatable, actually. So I thought I'd just read you a bit of this. He said, I just wanted to say thank you for the advice about the stag do that I was going to. It was absolutely amazing. I stuck to my guns and stayed alcohol free, and I feel incredible and proud. And partly it's thanks to you. Well, it's not really, it's thanks to you. Well done. Thank you so much. My mates were actually great with no pressure. And I just had to, I missed that bit out, that's personal. It was hard work, going to a football match with potentially around 20,000 people, mostly drunk. and then on to an Oktoberfest. But I had 2 pints of alcohol-free lager. So I managed to fit in, as you say, keep the ritual, change the ingredients, and I loved it. I had a brilliant time. I am so glad I'm not putting that poison in my body. When I looked at my mates the next day, loss of memory and all, it really felt worth it. In short, it definitely isn't worth drinking. Thank you again for everything you're doing, helping people like me see the path ahead of us with the tips and the knowledge. Isn't that nice? It just really sums up, doesn't it? That actually when you do the prep, when you reach out for a bit of support, or you prep in advance, you make your decision what you're going to do and you prep ahead in advance, it makes all the difference. And so often people do say that. We get really stressed about what our friends are going to say, what our work colleagues are going to say. And I don't deny there are sober shamers out there. Yeah, of course there are. But we don't have to let it get to us. We don't have to let it affect us. We don't have to react. If we are solid and strong and determined in what we've decided, then it doesn't make any difference what anybody else thinks. What difference could it make what you put in your mouth? So if you're doing Sober October, if you're early days, or whatever stage you're at, just do this for you. Do it for you. It's not for anyone else. Do it for you. And if you are just, very much a people pleaser, which I know a lot of people feel they are, at least till they recognize that in sobriety they can actually take back their power. But if you are a people pleaser, then just remember, it's not going to benefit anyone else for you to put alcohol in your mouth. How could it possibly? How could it make a difference? It really can't. We're so confused over all that stuff, aren't we, here in the UK and elsewhere, I'm guessing. So I don't know if any of you saw the piece in the Mail, I think it was, that I contributed some pieces to. I mean, it is great that more and more is coming out. I don't know if it is just because it's Sober October, but there's definitely more positive stuff, I think, in the press. I'm definitely seeing a lot more, and a lot more people just talking about the fact that we don't need any. That literally 1 glass of alcohol is harmful. Don't ever get confused about that. I used to get terribly confused. Oh, well, it's 1 or 2, that's fine. Never was 1 or 2. That was just the giant fib I was telling myself. But 1 or 2 isn't fine. Even 1 glass is harmful. End of. Really, really is. If you're new to this podcast, then go back and have a listen to some of the podcasts I've done in the past. I've got some amazing guests and some amazing topics. And episode 192, I think, if I've got that right, is with Dr. Anya Topiwala, and she really does explain in no uncertain terms just how unbelievably bad for us alcohol is. Terrible for aging, just terrible. Anyways, on today's podcast, I had this lovely email from a woman called Meridee who was telling me all about her brand, and she wanted to feature it on the podcast. And I just thought, this just sounds fascinating. I'm going to have a conversation with her. So you're going to get a chance to hear from Meridee in a while all about this fascinating concept called LaserQuit. Just before we do that, I just want to remind you of a few dates that are coming up. It's all getting very close. My memoir, From Wham to Woo, A Life on the Mic, is going to be out very soon. And I've got a whole bunch of dates across the UK. So I've mentioned a few of these dates. If you go to thesoberclub.com and click on events, you'll see the dates there, or just follow me on social media at Janie Lee Grace. Our first one is in Letchworth in Hertfordshire, our David's Bookshop, on the 22nd of October. And then we go through I go to a whole bunch of places across the UK. And the problem with these dates is that if they don't sell the tickets, then they don't run. So I know I'm terrible at kind of booking things in advance. I always want to leave it right to the last minute. But if you are thinking of coming, if you could book your ticket, that would just be so great. And then it'll definitely go ahead and I'll get to see you. And I'd absolutely love to. So if you can come, they're low cost. This just be lovely to see you guys. And lovely to have some podcast listeners there and people who follow the Sober Club. So check out those tour dates. It'd be great to see you across the end of October and right through November. I'm going to be all over the place. So be great to see you. If there isn't anything in your area, then drop me a message. I'd love to put some other stuff in place, perhaps for early next year. So that's really exciting. And then in the midst of all of that, we've got our sober coach training this weekend. That's sold out. Very excited about that. It's just always amazing to share some of this amazing work with people who are just so excited to be sober and to know that they're going to be walking a path where they can support other people. It's very exciting. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And then looking ahead, we have family constellations on Sunday, the 24th of November. So it's not for ages, but put it in your diary if you can make it. It's in Hertfordshire. It can be a really life-changing day. It's a very special thing, constellations. So come to that if you can. Again, if you go to thesoberclub.com and click on events, you'll see it there. And then just released tickets for our Christmas meetup, live podcast recording, and all round fabulous bit of connection, which is Monday, the 2nd of December. We'll be in Christmas mode, and that's at Club Soda. You can get your tickets now if you go to thesoberclub.com/events. Click on that. Tickets are limited, so definitely don't leave that one till the last minute. It would be great to see you. I'm going to be interviewing, I'm going to be in conversation with, I should say, Sam Delaney from the Reset podcast. I'm going to be talking with him about his book, Sort Your Head Out, Mental Health Without All the Bollocks. And he's going to be chatting to me about from Wham to Woo to Sober Coach. And we're going to have a few guests pop up as well. So it would be really great to see you on that Monday, December the 2nd. For all of that, go to thesoberclub.com and click on events. Well, my guest is Meridee from LaserQuit. And first off, I want to say I love your name. What a beautiful name, Meridee. It's lovely.
Thank you.
You might have to say your surname for me because it's quite difficult to pronounce. Do you want to tell us your surname?
The last name is Hlokoff. And the H is
okay. All right. Okay. Where are you from originally then?
Well, my family is actually English and Russian.
Okay, interesting. And now you're in Canada.
I am.
Right.
I am.
Okay.
So I was born in Canada, but my family was born elsewhere, typically.
Right. Right. Well, it's great to chat to you. I'm really fascinated by the whole concept of LaserQuit, and I know you're going to tell us all about it. But can we just back up and share a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So lucky for me, I was never addicted to alcohol or drugs. I think I've always been someone who kind of learns from other people's mistakes. And so I've seen a lot of bad choices being made by people that I was surrounded by, and I just opted out of it altogether. And so I've only really drank I want to say 25 to 30 times in my entire life.
Wow.
My last time was my 30th birthday, and I remember puking all over the side of my friend's truck at
Nice.
the beginning of the night. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is ridiculous. And so I haven't actually had a drink in 15 years.
Oh, that's so fantastic. That's my only regret is not doing this sooner. Why didn't I
Right?
learn my lesson? Were
I'm
you
going
smoking
to
though?
learn.
You were a smoker, weren't
I
you?
was.
Yeah,
I was.
right.
That one, of course, though, doesn't affect my life the same way
No,
as alcohol could.
no.
So I just made excuses around it and continue to do it, which I mean, we do the same thing with every addiction that we have.
Yeah,
Not addiction free. I just am not addicted to alcohol or drugs.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because you say that you saw it affecting other people around you. I've had quite a few guests on the podcast who have, looking back, they realise that their parents or their caregivers were really seriously affected by alcohol, and yet they're kind of saying, "My goodness, why did I do it then? Why did I end up getting addicted?" And I
yeah,
guess, there's no one answer to that. There's probably,
there's this.
part of us kind of just says, well, it won't happen to me. I won't get that bad.
Yep. I mean, also there is science that says if you are born into a family with any kind of alcohol abuse, you're immediately 50-50.
Yeah. Well,
And so
that, yeah,
what you'll typically see as well is that if there's two children, one of them will often be alcoholic and the other will not.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
literally goes 50-50. And then just kind of your genetics then start to make up more of the percentage of whether you're going to be an alcoholic or have an addiction of any
Sure.
kind.
Well, I would add to that also a lot of it is linked to childhood trauma, whether that's with a big T or a little t, and
Yeah.
if you look at something like the Adverse Childhood Experiences study, which could be as innocuous as not feeling safe because a parent was drinking. Your people who score three or more on that are something like 80% more likely to have an addiction. So, genes or no genes, your experiences are going to lead you to that. So it's not
Yeah.
our fault, right? It's alcohol that's addictive. Let's get that one
I mean,
sorted.
for me, the way I see that is that our childhood trauma is something that was done to us, but
Yes,
what we do with what was done to us is up
exactly.
to us.
Exactly that. Exactly that. That lovely expression. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility now.
Yes.
Yeah, I love
Yes.
it. Okay. So what led you into this work then? What got you interested in wanting to work in a capacity linked to helping people with addiction?
I guess in so many ways, I am just kind of a rescuer by nature. I
Mm,
like to help people that are, wounded or broken and all of those things. So for me, I just wanted to like really, I've always wanted to help people. And I have a couple of businesses, and my other business is a bookkeeping business. And it's not the most rewarding. It wasn't, I shouldn't say it isn't. It wasn't the most rewarding job in the world because, people pay you to do your job and you do your job and they're like, okay, great, now goodbye.
yeah.
Um, Over the years of me getting better and better at what I do, of course, I'm able to help people in more ways. So now I get a similar response, whether I'm dealing with addictions or with people's income tax and bookkeeping. But how it started for me was that I was addicted to smoking and I just needed to stop.
Right.
And I had written, like I had been on Champix, I had tried the gum, I had tried, you name it, I had tried it, and nothing had worked for me. And I was so miserable, feeling like I was controlled by this thing and just
Yeah.
feeling like I wasn't living my best life, starting to feel the effects. I mean, I was only in my mid 20s when I was starting to feel the effects of smoking. And I wrote on my Facebook, somebody help me, I need to stop. And one of my friends actually responded and said, you need to go try this laser therapy. Her friend responded underneath it, how can you tell her what to quit when you have never, when you're not quit? And she
Mm,
said, I chose to start smoking again, and that's the difference. And I was like, well, that's an interesting statement.
mm,
At that point, I was so desperate, it didn't matter. And I drove 3 hours from my home and I went down and I had this treatment. I was on my way home from this treatment, and the person that was with me was like, are you going to quit smoking? And I was like, wait, what? And he was like, you keep rolling down your window and patting the center console. And I was like, oh, wow, all of my like habits are so strong. And he's like, so I was like, so I have not thought about smoking once since we left that place. And he's like, bull. And I was like, no, I swear to you, I have not thought about smoking at all. So clearly my body was still doing the things that are associated. Habits are unconscious more often than
Of
not.
course.
And so I was doing the things, but my brain wasn't doing what we do when we're addicts. So I wasn't hearing that, oh my God, you need it. Oh my God, you need it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you need it.
The
I
addictive
wasn't,
voice.
yes. And I wasn't having those sensations anymore. And I was just like, this is really an interesting and a very interesting situation.
Mm.
And so I kind of just took a step back and looked at what was happening to me. And I just had no desire. So I didn't smoke for 5 years. And I thought it was pretty amazing. And then how it goes,
Yeah.
like any addict, it took one puff and I started again. So there was a party in my backyard, and every single person in my backyard was smoking. And it was just like a barbecue party. It wasn't a drinking party, it was just a barbecue party. And everybody was smoking. And I was like, oh, give me one of those. And so I took it. It was disgusting. But the next day, all I wanted to do was smoke. And so I made an appointment to go down and do it again. And now the first time I had seen this lady, she had diabetes really bad and she had had her foot cut off. 5 years later, I go down and she has had both of her legs cut off mid-thigh.
Wow.
And she's in her 70s and she says to me, my kids are forcing me to retire. And all I could think was, oh my God, I want to do this so bad. This is all I want. And her and I made a deal. I got some very basic training from her and came home and started offering treatments. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, 95% success rates. Like, that's okay. And I realized that it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't, it wasn't, like, I'm an overachiever. I can accomplish 85% not putting much effort into anything. And so I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do this right. So I started doing experiments on people. And I started doing like different treatments using the same spots, but like different sequencing, different timing, different lasers, all these different things, just because I wanted to see what was going to be the best outcome for us. And I ended up creating a program that at 1 year, people were like, I'll never go back.
Mm.
Now, 13 years later, I have people who are still quit after 13 years.
Wow.
And
So
so
let's can I just go back to basics though, because you'll be thinking people thinking, but what is it? So can you just
Hmm.
explain what is laser therapy, laser treatment?
Yeah.
What is it?
So it's called cold laser therapy is what it's referred to. And what it is it's LED light and low level radiation therapy. And we focus those on energies within your body. So what we're doing is naturally tricking your brain into thinking that it's already got the fix, whatever it is that you use. And the way that we're doing that is to go to the science of addiction is when we do any substance, we're releasing different levels of different endorphins in
Mm,
your brain.
mm.
Those are the different sensations you get, which is why
So
drinking
the
is so
dopamine hit, the
drug.
serotonin, all of that.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. So there's all these different endorphins that are being released at different levels.
Mm.
What happens, say, when you're drinking is there's more dopamine, but your dopamine crashes real fast. Your serotonin is pushed down, so you're not receiving as much, which is why it's a depressant,
Yeah.
things like that. What we do is we actually go in and release all of the endorphins at the same time so that they're all heightened. So the
Right.
most that you're going to feel is euphoria, but you're not going to feel drunk. You're not going to feel stoned. You're not going to feel anything. The most you'll feel is euphoria, but you'll maybe feel a little bit like, maybe a little bit dizzy or
Right.
lightheaded.
And the cold laser therapy does that.
And this is, yes,
Ah,
yes.
okay.
And so the science is basically that we're tricking your brain into thinking it's gotten the fix by releasing all of the endorphins so high that you can't match me. And what
Right.
the
So in other words, sorry, I'm just trying to get my head around it.
yeah,
So rather than working on, I love the whole idea of this, by the way, because rather than just working on our brain to try to have a conversation, if you like, with our unconscious mind to say you don't need this, it's okay, you don't need it. Rather than do it that way, what we're doing here is doing it from a physiological perspective. We're
yeah,
using the body to affect the brain to let it
yeah.
know that it doesn't need an external substance to get that feeling, right?
Yes.
Oh,
And so the
love it.
coolest part about this is when we use any substances, our brain's chemical and physical makeup is actually completely changed, especially with long-term use. It's changed immediately when we use, but the longer you use it, that becomes a permanent change. And now gray matter is not something that is regenerative. So once it's gone, it's gone.
Right.
It can adjust, but it doesn't regenerate. And so the really interesting part about what LaserQuit does and why this is going to be the next like holy shit therapy, excuse my language, but it's going to be that thing that people are like, oh my God, this is the thing that changed the world, is because what we're doing is we're actually helping your brain go back to its best abilities.
Yeah.
So, like when we're changing your dopamine receptors within your body by overusing, we then end up in this really interesting state. I think it's called anhedonia. And it's
Yeah.
the state of lacking the ability to feel any kind of pleasure. And that's because your dopamine receptors have minimized as well as the release of dopamine has minimized. And then your brain can't do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
I do is get your brain to go back to doing that. And with me and the way that my treatments work is that it's not a one hit wonder. It is one of those like magical miracle cures that everyone's looking for, but it's not a one-off. There is maintenance that needs to be done. It's not a long period of time, but you can also continue to come back as long as you choose to, because there's no harm to your body in doing what we're doing.
Yeah, there's no contraindications.
None.
So just to kind of go over this again and make sure I got this right, because I know you said, and I saw something you'd written where you were saying that often the addictive quality, if you like, the kind of the craving, if you like, stems from our gut really, and then we end up sort of demanding, if you like, craving whatever our substance of choice might be, that then feeds all that lovely gut bacteria and sends all the signals to the brain, because the gut's the second brain, right?
It is.
And then I suppose then because we think we've got what it is we want, the endorphins are released, so that we think we feel good, but actually we're just poisoning ourselves, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So with what we're doing with the laser is that essentially we stop the stomach, the microbiome in your stomach, the bugs and the bacteria that are the ones that actually tell your brain how to feel. So if you're eating crappy food, which more often than not, if we're drinking or doing drugs, we're eating crappy food, we're destroying our gut microbiome. And food literally is medicine. And so with this, we're going to stop the communication between your brain and your stomach, because when we stop feeding our stomach alcohol, drugs, smoking, because smoking still goes through the stomach, when we stop feeding those bugs, they're screaming bloody murder to your brain, which is why you have that addict brain kick in. That's why you hear, oh my God, I want it. Oh my God, I want it. Oh my God, I want it. That is actually your stomach, and the bugs in your stomach, they're dying. So imagine like these little things just looking at you being like, ah, I'm dying. And if we go in and stop them from communicating with your brain for a short period of time, it gives you a chance to get into recovery. Yeah. So we not only help people get sober, but then we help people stay sober. So it's it literally isn't just this like one piece fits all. It's so many pieces coming together using your body to fix itself.
Yeah.
And there's so many negative things that happen when we're using drugs or alcohol. And yet with what we're doing, we're fixing that. We're allowing your body to do what it needs to do. It also comes with like a full detox, but your detox is the only symptoms you'll have. Most of our clients have zero withdrawal symptoms. So there's none of the, cold shakes. There's none of the sweats. There's the detox and the awfulness that comes for that first 7 days doesn't exist with our treatment.
Right.
Whether it's heroin, cocaine, alcohol, it doesn't happen. And if it does happen, it is the most mild experience that they've ever had.
Wow. Oh, it sounds fascinating. Now, the difficulty is that, we can't get it everywhere yet, right?
Yes, I am working on that.
Are you? Good.
So strongly on that. This is my passion project. So far, it has cost me nothing but money.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the reward of it is worth every penny I've ever spent. And I'm just so excited about where I know this is going to lead. And I always tell people, like when I'm doing these podcast guesting, I always say to them, like, be prepared, because one day you're going to see the woman who helped change the face of addiction,
Yeah.
just because I'm opening people up to
So
this.
in I don't know, years time, 5 years time, where would you like this, to be accessible?
Worldwide.
Internationally?
Absolutely
Yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah. Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be amazing?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it feels to me like there's no, I love the fact there's no contraindications here. So you're not doing yourself
Yes.
any harm.
Yes.
And it's good for you on so many levels, actually.
Yes. Now, I will say there is one contraindication I've ever seen, and it is only ever in people with bipolar. And it's
Okay,
because their
interesting.
brain doesn't do well with dopamine, with serotonin, like their
Okay,
brain
in a
chemically
in a big
balanced up.
hit.
Yes. And
Fair
so when
enough.
I give them that, it actually will send them into a spiral. Now, it will
Okay,
get the pain, but it sends them into a physiological spiral and a mental spiral, and they just don't do
interesting.
well. Those are the only people that I
Right.
cannot treat.
What about if people are already on medication? Because I always find it very interesting, when I work with clients who they're already on perhaps quite high doses of antidepressants. I don't know what it's like in Canada, but you'd be amazed how many people are given antidepressants. Women who rock up to a GP because they've got menopausal symptoms can often be handed out antidepressants like sweets, even
Yes.
though they're drinking a bottle of wine every night. By the way, they're not asked about that. So if
Yeah.
someone's on, maybe high doses of antidepressants, perhaps HRT or whatever into the mix, how does that affect it? Because your brain chemistry might get a little confused.
So I treat people or who are on antidepressant medications on a regular basis. Now, if you chose to, because the side effects of what I do are positive side effects. So if you have one of our addictions treatments, what comes as a side effect to that is that you're going to get an antidepressant treatment, an anti-stress treatment, an anti-smoking treatment, an anti-pain treatment because of the endorphins that we're
Yeah,
releasing.
yeah,
So we're making your body do all the work for all the things that you have gone to your doctor for.
yeah,
And this is where it's the game changer. So I have a ton of people who come off of their medications because of it. Some people will choose to stay on it, but they significantly lower their dose. It really just depends. That being said, it does require maintenance.
yeah, of course.
You want it's this, but at the same time, I say that and people are like, well, that's no good. Well, I go back to my dentist because I need my teeth cleaned.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if you want to compare it to a pharmaceutical, you take that pill every single day. I only need to see you about once every 8 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
interesting.
and we do follow-up emails and everything so that you can't miss these appointments. So for me, these things are so incredibly important because we're naturally fixing the things in our body that need to be fixed, and we no longer need to pay the pharmaceutical companies all of this money when we can fix it with our own bodies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this
I
stuff
love
has
it. It
been around
feels like
for thousands of years.
a very holistic kind of approach. I love it.
It is. It is.
So, those people who are lucky enough to be able to get to you, where are your centers currently?
So currently we have, I want to say six of them in British Columbia. We have one in Alberta, which is all in Canada for now. That being said, if anyone is on here and is super interested in what I'm doing, I am doing licensing to train people, and then I take royalties on these because of the way that this all works and because I want to grow this business. Um, so if you're interested, definitely
Yeah,
reach out.
there's a business opportunity. Amazing.
Yes, it is. And it's the most
Brilliant.
rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. I've never
Yeah,
had people who are so grateful.
yeah.
But we also have one location in Costa Rica at a wellness center because what a great place. Like go disappear to go rehab yourself in a beautiful tropical area and get some LaserQuit services.
Love it. Brilliant. Just give us the website then, Meridee.
So it is laserquittherapy.ca or laserquit.net. And it's LASERQUIT. It is not LAZ.
Okay, you got it. All right. Well, we'll pop that in the show notes as well. Fantastic to chat to you, and I really do think this is going to be everywhere. Come back on the show. Promise me you'll come back in a year, in 2 years. Let's see where it goes. Right. Very
Absolutely. Thank you
exciting.
so much for having me, my
Yes.
dear.
Thank you. So we'll put that info on the show notes. I'm thinking, what an amazing opportunity for anyone feeling entrepreneurial in the UK. I wish I had time. It just it does sound absolutely amazing. Just a reminder of those dates then. The whole book tour is kicking off on October the 22nd. If you go to thesoberclub.com, click on events, or go to janieleegrace.com, click on events, and come and see me on the book tour. come and say hi. That would be just amazing to meet you. November the 24th, Family Constellations, Monday 2nd of December. It's our live podcast recording at Club Soda in London. Tickets are on sale now. I'm going to be chatting with Sam Delaney from The Reset. We're going to be talking all things 80s, 90s, music biz through to sobriety and mental health. Should be a really good night, and we'll have some special guests as well. Oh, and your tickets include a really nice goodie bag, so you can bear that in mind. So we've got quite a lot coming up. As before, I just want to remind you that whatever stage you're at, really, there's always something else, isn't there? There's always something that you want to focus on, that you want to kind of level up to. Well, I hope so. I mean, it'd be very boring, wouldn't it, if we felt that we were fully sorted and, but there is an amazing thing around sobriety that it does, once you've stopped drinking, it allows you to really kind of get in touch with who you really are, which of course is amazing. But then it starts to spark all kinds of other interesting things, and that little spark of creativity that perhaps you hadn't seen since you were a kid can come back. And you start to become much more brave, much more resilient, and much more able to focus on what it is you want, that sense of purpose or just what brings you happiness, rather than kind of chasing your tail constantly, which is certainly what I used to do. You can actually focus on what you want for the future. So all of that requires, the embracing, I think, of the holistic picture. And I think it's really hard if you just, in inverted commas, quit booze and then expect everything else to just follow. I think you do have to put the effort in. I do have a little mini course called Holistic Sobriety, but it depends what aspects you want to work on. If you join us in the Sober Club, there's just so much content around well-being. But whatever it is for you, just always keep kind of, I was going to say keep expanding, but that has different connotations, doesn't it? But just remember that personal growth piece, because it just feels really important that so much can change once you've quit alcohol. Of course, if you want to join us in the Sober Club, it would be amazing to have you as part of it. We really do become cheerleaders for each other. Literally, whatever stage we're at, we become each other's cheerleaders. So whatever's going on for you, come and join us if you'd like to. If you don't want to join us in the Sober Club, or if you've already got a community, that's fine. But always tell someone you're doing this. Reach out. Don't let it just be you and the wine witch having a little chat. Make sure you've told somebody, and make sure you've kind of set your intentions. Super important. I mentioned on last week's podcast, where it was all about letting go, I spoke about the power of setting intentions, deciding what you want, and then letting go of what you no longer need. It's a great time to do it while all the beautiful autumn leaves are we're splashing around us, or rather we're splashing through them. We can just remember, actually, I can shed some skin, as it were. I can focus on what I want, and maybe I don't have to carry a ton of baggage with me. So if that kind of analogy works for you, then yeah, I really hope so. Thank you again to LaserQuit for being part of this podcast. Fascinating concept. All of that stuff will be in the show notes, so make sure you check that out. If you want to leave me a review for this podcast, that would be amazing, or share it with other people, or just let me know, drop me a message, let me know if you've enjoyed some of the stuff that we've spoken about this week and on so many other episodes. It'd be fantastic to hear from you. Just follow me on social media at Janie Lee Grace. Have yourself a fantastic week. Thank you for listening to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.